picture this. You're standing at the base of a mountain. It's tall, it's imposing, and it seems impossible to climb, but here is the kicker. You're all alone, no guides, no equipment, just you and your determination. Now most people would turn back. They would say, it's too hard, I can't do it alone. But not you. Look at that mountain and say, watch me. This is the essence of true success. It's not about having all the resources or support in the world. It's about having the guts to start, the perseverance to continue, and the willpower to finish all your own. I've climbed my share of mountain in life, metaphorical ones of course. I'm not much of a hiker, but I've faced challenges and seemed insurmountable, obstacles that look unbeatable. And you know what? I did it alone, not because I had to, because I chose to because I knew that the sweetest victory is one you achieve by yourself. Now, do not get me wrong. I'm not saying you should push away help when it's offered. That's foolish. What I'm saying is that you should not wait for help to come. You shouldn't depend on others to achieve your dreams, because at the end of the day, it's your life, your journey, your mountain to climb. Let me tell you a story. When I was young, I worked as a stock clerk at a department store. Minimum wage, long hours, not much future. But I had dreams, big dreams. I wanted to be successful, to make something of myself. Everyone around me said, kid, you're dreaming too big. Know your place. But I didn't listen. I couldn't afford to listen. Instead, I started reading every book I could get my hands on. I would work on my shifts. They hit to the public library and read until they knocked me out. Business, philosophy, psychology, you name it, I read it. I was educating myself, preparing myself for the success I knew was coming. And you know what? It wasn't easy. There were nights when I was so tired I could barely keep my eyes open. Days when I questioned if it was all worth it. But I kept going because I knew that if I wanted to change my life, I had to be one to do it. Fast forward for a few years, and I had started my own business. It wasn't much at first, just me working out of my tiny apartment, but I had a vision and I was determined to make a reality. I worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I made cold calls until my voice was hoarse. I knocked on doors until my knuckles were sore, and slowly, bit by bit, things started to change. I got my first client, my second, my 10th. Before I knew it, I had a thriving business. And you know what the best part was? I did it alone. Every success, every milestone, it was all mine. Now, I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand something fundamental about success. It's not about luck. It's not about connections. It's not about having everything handed to you on a silver platter. It's about having the courage to start, the strength to continue, and the determination to finish all by yourself. When you depend on others for your success, you're putting your dreams in their hands. That's a dangerous game to play, because no one cares about your dream as much as you do. No one will work as hard for your access as you will. That's why I say, do it alone. Be your motivator, be your coach, be your cheerleaders. Because when you achieve success on your own terms, by your own efforts, there is no feeling like it's in the world. Now I can almost hear some of you thinking, but what if I fail? What if I tried and it doesn't work out? Well, let me tell you something about future failure. Failure is not opposite of success, it's a part of success. Every great achievement in history was preceded by countless failures. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he successfully created the light bulb. Do you think what he said about the failures? He said, I haven't failed. I have just found 10,000 ways will not work. This is the mindset of a true achiever, someone who sees failure not as an end, but as a stepping stone to success. When you're doing alone, you will face failure. It's inevitable, but here is the beautiful thing. When you are alone, you get to define what the future means. You gotta decide how long you will let it to hold you back. You get to choose when you get back up and try again. Let me tell you, there is incredible power in that because you're not depending on anyone else. When you're not willing for someone to pick you up or show you the way, you become resilient, you become unstoppable. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, I would have succeeded, but my partner let me down and I could have made it, but I didn't have the right connections. Those are excuses, my friend. And excuses are the nails used to build the house of failure. When you do it alone, you do not have the luxury of success. It's all on you. And while that at night seems scary at first. It's actually incredibly liberating, because when you take full responsibility of your life, for your success, for your failures, that's when you take control. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. Doing it alone is hard. There will be always days when you feel like giving up, days when the mountain seems too high, the road too long, and those are the days that define you. Those are the days when you look in the mirror and say, I'm not quitting, I'm not giving up, I'm going to keep pushing, keep climbing, keep moving forward. Because here is the truth: success is not about never failing down, it's about getting up one more than you fall. It's about having the courage to face your fears, to confront your doubts, to push your thought, your limitation. When you do it alone, you develop a kind of inner strength that nothing can shake. You become the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. You become unstoppable. Fear of failure, fear of unknown, fear of not being good enough. These fear of natural, they are human, but they're also the biggest obstacle standing between you and your dreams. Fear is like a prison. It keeps you locked in your comfort zone, prevents you from taking risks, stop you from reaching your full potential. But here's the thing about the prison: you hold the key. You have the power to unlock the door and step into freedom at any moment. When you decide to do it alone, you're making a powerful statement. You're saying, I refuse let fear control me. I refuse let doubt define me. I'm taking charge of and I'm going to create the future I want. And let me tell you, that's when the magic happens. That's when you start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. That's when you start to find solutions where others see any problems. That's when you start to achieve things that others thought were impossible. I remember when I first started giving speeches, I was terrified. My palms would sweat, my heart would race, and my voice would shake. But I knew that if I wanted to make an impact, if I wanted to change lives, I had to push through the fear. So what did I do? I practiced in front of mirror. I practiced in empty rooms. I practiced until the words flowed naturally, until the fear turned into excitement. And you know what? The first time I stepped onto a big stage in front of hundreds of people, I was still scared. But I did it anyway, because I knew that on the other side of that fear was growth, was success. Yes, was the life I would always dreamed of. And that's what I want to each and every one of you. If you want to look your fear is in the eye and say, you do not control me, I'm not gonna do it. I'm going to do it alone if you have to. Because when you conquer your fears, when you push past your doubts, when you prove to yourself that you can do it alone, that's when you become truly unstoppable. When you're working towards a goal on your own, there is no boss looking over you, no team depending on you, no external pressure pushing you forward. It's all on you, and that's where self-discipline comes in. Self-discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. It's the ability to make yourself do what you know you should do, even when you do not feel like it. It's waking up early to work on your business when you would rather sleep in. It's saying no to that night out with friends so you can study for the degree. It's putting in those extra hours, making those extra calls, going to that extra mile, even when no one's watching, even when no one would know if you didn't. Success is not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do constantly. And when you're doing it alone, constantly is everything. I learned this lesson early in my career. When I was building my business, there was plenty of days when I didn't feel motivated. Days when I wanted to slip in, take it easy, maybe even give up. But I knew that if I gave in to the decision, I decided that I would show up every single day, no matter what, rain or shine, feeling good or feeling bad. I would put the work. And you know what? That decision made all the difference. Because success doesn't care about your feeling. It doesn't care if you're fired or stressed or discouraged. Success only cares about what you do. And when you have the self-discipline to do what needs to be done, day in and day out, that's when you start to see real progress. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, but it's hard to stay disciplined all the time. It's hard to keep pushing when no one watching. And you're right, it's hard, but it's exactly what it's so valuable. Anyone can work hard when they're feeling motivated. Anyone can put an effort when they have someone cheering them on. but it's those who can stay disciplined, who can keep pushing forward even when they do not feel like it. Those are ones who achieve greatness. And here is the beautiful thing about self-discipline. It compounds every time you choose to do hard things. Every time you choose to keep going when you want to quit. You're not just making progress toward your goal, you're also building your character. You're becoming stronger, more resilient, more capable. And before you know it, what once seemed impossible becomes routine. The challenge that once seemed insurmountable becomes stepping stone, and you become unstoppable. But be real for a moment. Doing it alone is not always glamorous. It's not always exciting. There will be times when you feel lonely, times when you doubt yourself, times when you wonder if it's all worth it. And that's okay, that's normal. In fact, if you're not experiencing those feelings sometimes, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough, because growth, real meaningful growth, happens outside of your comfort zone. The key is to remember what you started in the first place, to keep your eyes on the prize even when the path gets rough. To remind yourself that every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome is making you stronger, better, more capable. And here is something else to remember. Just because you're doing it alone doesn't mean you have to be alone in every aspect of your life. Surround yourself with positive influence. Read books that inspires you. Listen to podcasts that motivates you. Attend seminars that educate you. Doing it alone doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means making full responsibility for your success, for your growth, for your life. It means not waiting for someone else to hand you opportunities, but creating it for yourself. And when you do that, when you take that level of ownership over your life, something amazing happens. You start to see possibilities where others see limitations. You start to find ways where others see only roadblocks. You start to achieve things that others thought were impossible. The only limits that really matters are the ones you place on yourself. And when you decide to do it alone, you're also deciding to break free from those self-imposed limitations. You're deciding to believe in yourself even when no one else does. You're deciding to keep going even when the path ahead seems unclear. You're deciding to be author of your own story, the master of your own fate. There is no feeling quite like that. The sense of accomplishment you get when you achieve something on your own, when you overcome a challenge by yourself, when you reach a goal through your own effort, it's incredible. It's feeling of pride, of confidence, of self-assurance that no one can take away from you, because you know deep in your bones that you did it. You faced your fears, you pushed through the doubts, you overcome the obstacle. You did it all on your own. That's power of doing it alone. And that's strength that comes from self-reliance. That's the confidence that grows from self-sufficiency. Now, I want to address something important. When I say do it alone, I'm not suggesting that you should never accept help or support. That would be foolish. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't depend on that help or support. You shouldn't wait for it to come before you start moving toward your goals. The world is full of people waiting for their big break, waiting for someone to give them a chance, waiting for the perfect condition before they start. But success doesn't come to those who want. It comes to those who act, who take initiative, who create their own opportunities. When you adopt the mindset of doing it alone, you become proactive rather than reactive. You do not wait for things to happen. You make them happen. You do not hope for better circumstances. You create better circumstances. And that's when truly become unstoppable, because no matter what life throws at you, no matter what obstacle appears in your path, you know that you have the strength, the skills, and the determination to overcome them. When you do it alone, you develop a kind of resilience that's rare in today's world, a resilience that allows you to bounce back from setbacks, to learn from failures, to keep pushing forwards no matter what. And in a world that's constantly changing, in a marketplace that increasingly competitive, that kind of resilience is invaluable. It is what separates the achiever from dreamers, the successful from the mediocre. When you're not relying on others, when you're charting your own course, you need to be constantly upgrading your skills, expanding your knowledge, improving yourself. In today's world, if you're not growing, you're not falling behind. The skill that got you where you are today won't necessarily get you where you want to go tomorrow. The knowledge that served you well in the past might not be sufficient for the challenges of the future. That's why I have always been a voracious reader. That's why I've always sought out new experience, new perspectives, new ideas, because I know that my growth is my responsibility. No one else is gonna expand my mind for me. No one else is gonna upgrade my skill for me. It's all me. And the same is true for me. If you want to succeed on your own terms, If you want to achieve your dreams without depending on others, you need to commit a lifelong learning. You need to be constantly seeking out new knowledge, new skills, new days of thinking, new books. Attend seminars, read books, and take online courses. Seek out mentors, not because you're relying on them for your success, but because you're using them as a tool to enhance your own capabilities. Remember, knowledge is the power when you are doing it alone. You need all the power you can get. The more you know, the more you can do. The more skills you have, the more value you can create. The more perspective you understand, the more opportunities you can see. Now I want to talk about something that's often overlooked when discussing success, the power of habits. When you're doing it alone, when you do not have external structure or systems to rely on, your habits become incredibly important. We're what we repeatedly do. Excellence, as Aristotle said, it's not an act but an habit. And the same is true for success. It's not about what you do once in a while, it's about what you do constantly, day in, day out. That's why I've always been a big believer in developing positive habits. Habits of productivity, habits of learning, habits of self-improvement. Because when you have the right habits in place, success becomes almost inevitable. If you have a habit of waking up early, working on your goal for an hour before the rest of the world is even awake, how much progress do you think will make over time? If you have a habit of reading for an hour every day, you have much knowledge you think you have accumulated over a year. If you have a habit of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone regularly, how much do you think you will grow? These habits might seem small on a day-to-day basis, but over time they compound, they create massive results, they transform your way, you from who you are into who you want to be. And here is the beautiful thing about habits. Once they are established, they do not require willpower. They become automatic. They become part of who you are, and that's when real change happens. Now I know what some of you might be thinking, but it's hard to develop new habits. It's hard to break old patterns. And you are right, it's hard. But remember, when you're talking about doing it alone, we're talking about taking control of your life, your success, your future. And that's never doing it. It's not be easy. But here's the thing, it's worth it. Because when you develop the right habits, when you create routine and systems that support your goal, you're essentially putting your success on autopilot. You're creating a foundation to achievement that nothing can shake. Let me give you an example from my own life. Early in my career, I developed a habit of setting aside time every Sunday to plan my week ahead. I would review my goals, set my priorities, and schedule my best important task. At first, it felt like a chore, but over time, it became second nature. And you know what? That simple habit has become one of the biggest contributors to my success, because when you plan your week, you're not just reaching what comes to you. You're proactively shaping your time, your energy, your focus. You're ensuring that your most important goals do not get lost in the day-to-day hustle and bustle. And here is the power of habits. They allow you to make progress even when you do not feel motivated. They keep you moving forward even when the path gets tough. They ensure that you're always taking steps toward your goal, even if those steps are small. When you're not relying on others, when you're charting your own course, your mindset becomes the most valuable asset. Your mind is like a garden. What you plant, it will grow. If you plant doubts, fears, and negative thoughts, that will flourish. But if you plant confidence, determination, and positive beliefs, that what will take roots and grow. And when you're doing it alone, you need to be very careful about what you're planting in your mental garden. You need to be vigilant about the thought you allow to take up residence in your mind, because those thoughts will shape your reality. If you believe that success is impossible and is possible, you will find a way to make it happen. If you believe that obstacles are opportunities in disguise, you will approach challenges with enthusiasm rather than dread. If you believe that you have what it takes to achieve your dreams, you will find the strength to keep going, even when things get tough. That's why I have always been a big believer in positive self-talk, in affirmations, in visualization success. Not because these things magically make your dreams come true, but because they shape mindset. They program your brain for success. When you constantly tell yourself, I can do this, when you regularly visualize yourself achieving your goals, when you maintain a positive outlook, even in the face of setback, you're training your mind to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. You're conditioning yourself to see opportunities where others see only obstacles. And that superpower when you're gonna do it alone. Because when you're not depending on others, when you're creating your own path, you need to be able to see possibilities that others miss. You need to be able to find solutions where others only find problems. Now, I'm not talking about blind optimism here. I'm not suggesting that you ignore reality or pretend that the challenge do not exist. What I'm talking about is cultivating a growth mindset, a mindset that sees opportunity as opportunities to learn and growth, a mindset that believes in your ability to overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. When you're doing it alone, when you face obstacle, you're gonna counter obstacles, goals. You're gonna have moments of doubt and fear. That's inevitable, but it's your mindset will determine whether this experience defeats you to propel you forward. With the right mindset, a setback becomes a setup for comeback. An obstacle becomes a chance to prove your resilience. A moment of doubt becomes an opportunity to reframe your commitment to your goal. And that's when you become truly unstoppable, because no external circumstances can defeat someone who refuses to be defeated. No obstacle can stop somebody who sees every challenge as an opportunity to grow stronger, something that's often overlooked when discussing success. The importance of taking care of yourself. When you're doing it alone, when you're pushing hard towards your goal, it's easy to fall into the trap of working non-stop, of sacrificing your health and well-being in pursuit of success. Your most valuable assets, your health, your energy, your mental clarity, these are the tools you need to achieve your goal. And if you do not take care of those tools, if you do not maintain those properly, they will fail you when you need them most. That's why I've always been a big advocate for self-care, for taking time to rest and recharge, for maintaining a healthy balance between work and life, because success is not just about achieving your goal, it's about being able to enjoy that success. When you achieve it, what good is financial success if you have destroyed your health to achieve it? What good is professional success if you have sacrificed all your relationships along the way? True success, lasting success, is holistic. It encompasses all areas of your life. So as you're pushing hard towards your goal, as you're doing it alone, making sure you're also taking care of yourself. Eat well, exercise regularly, get enough sleep, take time for relaxation and fun, nature, your relationship with your soul. When you take care of yourself, you're not just maintaining your most valuable asset, you're also increasing your capacity to achieve. When you're well rested, well nourished, and with mental state, you're more creative, more productive, more resilient. You're better equipped in handling challenges and see these opportunities. And that's crucial when you're going to alone, because you need to be operating at your best. You need to be finding on all cylinders. You need to be bringing your A game every single day. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, but I do not have time for self-care. I'm too busy working towards my goal. I get it. I have been there, but there is a thing. Self-care is not a luxury. It's not something you do when you have extra time. It's a necessity. It's an investing in your success. Think it in this way. If you had a goose that laid golden eggs, would you work that goose to death? Of course not. You would take care of it. You would make sure it's healthy and happy to keep producing those golden eggs. Well, you are the goose. Your ability to work hard, your creativity, your perseverance in the face of challenges, those are your golden eggs, and you need to take care of your goose. So as you're pushing towards your goals, as you're doing it alone, make sure you're also taking time to recharge. Make sure you're giving yourself the care and attention you need to perform at your best, because that's not just good for your health and happiness, it's not for your success too. The power focus in today's world, we're bombarded with distractions, social media, emails, notifications. There is always something weighing off our attention, and when you're working towards your goal on your own, those distractions can be deadly. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and if your focus is scattered, if you are constantly jumping from one thing to another, you will never achieve the level of success you're capable of. That's why I've always been a big believer in the power of deep work, in the ability to focus instantly on one task for extended periods, because that's where real progress happens. That's where the breakthrough occurs. That's where you separate yourself from the pack. Anyone can work in a short bursts. Anyone can put a little effort here and there, but in those who can maintain deep, sustained focus, who achieve extraordinary results, it's those who shut out distraction and dive into their work who make real progress toward their goals. And when you are doing it alone, the ability for us become more and more critical, because you do not have a team to pick up and slack. You You do not have others to handle different aspects of the work. It's all on you, and that means you need to make every minute count. So how do you develop the ability to focus? How do you cultivate the skill of deep work? Well, like any skill, it takes practice, it takes discipline, it takes a commitment to improvement. Start by creating a distraction-free moment. Turn off your phone notification. Close unnecessary browse tabs. Find a quiet space when you can work without interruption. Then set clear goals for your session. What do you want to accomplish? What progress do you want to make? Having a clear objective helps you maintain focus and give you a sense of purpose. Next, use technologies like the Pomodoro method, working in focused bursts with short breaks in between. This helps you maintain high level of concentration without burning out. And most importantly, make deep work a habit. Schedule regular times for focus. And in rapid work, treat these times as scarce. Do not let anything or anyone interfere with them. When you develop the ability to focus deeply, you're not just working more efficiently, you're also producing higher quality work. You're coming up with those better ideas. You're solving problems more effectively. You're taking your performance to a whole new level, and that's what starts those who achieve extraordinary success. That's what allows you to accomplish in a few hours that others might take day two. That's what that gives you edge when you're going it alone. Sometimes it's often overlooked when discussing success is the importance of celebration. When you're doing it alone, when you're pushing hard towards your goal, it's easy to sit so focused to the end result that you forget to celebrate the small victories along the way. Success is a journey, not a destination. And if you're not taking time to acknowledge and celebrate your progress, you're missing out on a powerful source of motivation and satisfaction. If you're always focused on how far still to go, if you're always thinking about what you have not achieved yet, it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to lose of how far you've come. It's going to lead to burnout and demotivation. That's why I've always been a big believer in celebrating milestones, no matter how small. Finish the difficult task, celebrate it. Make progress on a long-term goal, celebrate it. Overcome a challenge, definitely celebrate that. These celebrations do not have to be big to celebrate. They can be as simple as thinking a moment to acknowledge your achievement, treating yourself to something you enjoy, sharing your success with a friend or loved one. The important thing is that you recognize your progress and giving yourself credit for your hard work. When you celebrate your victories, you're not just making yourself feel good in the moment. You're almost reinforcing positive behaviors. You're creating a connection in your brain between hard work and reward that makes you really likely to continue in the forward even when things get tough. Moreover, celebrating your progress helps you maintain perspective. It reminds you that you're making headways even if some things feel slow. It helps you see the bigger picture of your journey towards success. And when you're doing it alone, this perspective is crucial because there is no one else there is to remind of how you've come. There is no team to share in your victories to boost your morale. When you're feeling down, it's up to you to be your own cheerleader, your own source of encouragement or motivation. So as you're pushing toward your goals, as you're doing it alone, make sure you're lacking time to celebrate your progress. Make sure you're acknowledging your achievement, no matter how small they might seem, because those small victories add up. They build momentum. They fuel your motivation and drives you forward. And before you know it, those small celebrations will lead to a big ones. Those minor milestones will turn into a major achievement, and you will find yourself not just achieving your goal, but surpassing them. In today's world of instant gratification, we often expect quick results. We want success, and we want it now. But the reality is, true success, lasting success, takes time. It takes persistence. It takes ability to keep going, even when results aren't immediate. Success is not a sprint; it's a marathon. And when you are doing it alone, when you not have others to learn and keep you accountable, your ability to persist becomes your most valuable asset. Think about any great achievement in history, to invention of light bulb, to the creation of personal computer, to the building of great empires. None of these happened overnight. They were the result of persistent effort, of refusing to give in and face of setback and failures. That's why I've always been a big believer in the power of persistence, in the ability to keep going even when the path ahead seems unclear, even when progress seems slow, even when others might might be telling you give up. Persistence is what separates the achievers from dreamers. It's what allows you to turn obstacle into opportunity. It's what enables you to earn and learn from your failures and use them as a stepping stone to success. And then when you're doing it alone, this persistence becomes even more critical because there is no else to you pick up to when you fall. There is no team to share, to burden when things get tough. It's all on you. How do you develop this persistence? How do you cultivate this ability to keep going even when the going gets tough? First, you need to have a clear vision of what you're working towards. A goal that's so compelling, so inspiring that it pulls you forward even when you feel like giving up. Because when you have strong enough why, you can endure almost and bow. Second, you need to develop a growth mindset to see challenges not roadblocks, but as opportunities to learn and grow, to understand that every setback, every failure is just a lesson in disguise. Third, you need to break your big goals into the smaller, manageable steps. Because persistence is not about making huge leaps forward every day, it's about making constant progress, no matter how small. Finally, you need to cultivate resilience, the ability to bounce back from setback, to pick yourself up after a fall, to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead seemed difficult or unclear. Because here is the thing, when you're here doing it alone, there will be times when you want to give up, times that challenges seem too great, that obstacle too numerous. But in those moments that persistence becomes most critical, it's those moments that your ability to keep going, to keep pushing forward, will determine your ultimate success. Remember, every great achievement in history was once thought impossible. Every successful person was once a beginner, facing the same doubt and challenges that you face now. The difference that is persistent. They keep even when others might have given up. That's what I want for each and every of you, to develop the persistence, to cultivate the ability to keep going no matter what. Because when you combine persistence with the other principles you've discussed, focus, self-care, celebration, continuous learning, that's when you become truly unstoppable. That's when you start to achieve things that others thought were impossible. That's when you start to create the level of success that goes behind what you might have initially imagined for yourself. And the best part, when you achieve the success thought, your own persistent efforts. When you do it alone, the victory is that much sweeter. The sense of accomplishment is the much greater because you deep in your heart that you earn it, that you persisted when others might quit, that you keep going when the path is difficult. So as you're pushing toward your goal, as you're doing it alone, remember the power of persistence. Remember that every step forward, no matter how small is the progress, remember that every obstacle overcome, every challenge faced is making stronger, more capable, more resilient, and more importantly, remember this: nothing can stop a person who refuses to be stopped. Nothing can defeat someone who persists in the face of adversity. Nothing can hold an individual who is determined to success no matter what. We have that power within you, the power to persist, the power to keep going even when things get tough, the power to achieve your dreams, to create your life you want, to become the person you are meant to be. And when you tap into that power, when you combine it, when you tap into that power, when you combine it with everything else you've discovered today, the focus, the self-discipline, the continuous learning, the self-care, the celebrate of small victories, that's when we truly become unstoppable. That's when you start to see the fruit of your labor, the result of your persistence, the reward of doing it alone. Remember, my friend, success is not handed to you on a silver platter. It's not something you can borrow or steal. It's something you build day by day, step by step, through your own effort and determination. And when you achieve it on your own terms, by your own effort, there is no feeling quite like in the world. You have everything you need within you to achieve your dreams. You have the power, the potential, the ability to create the life you want. Do not wait for someone else to make it happen. Do not depend on others for you to succeed. Take charge of your life, your future, your destiny. Because when you do it alone, when you push through the challenges, achieve your goals through your own efforts, that's when you truly understand what you are capable of. That's when you discover the incredible strength that lies within you.